Alright, welcome back. This is going to be the third video for March 17th of 2011. And I started the second video by telling you we need to watch the events that have taken place in relation to the nations of Turkey, Iran, and Sudan. And now I want to tie that in this video, the third video. If you go to Ezekiel chapter 38, as I mentioned in the second video, there is a list of nations that are going to be coming down against Israel in the last days. Now, in the list, you will see that Sudan is actually, in the Old Testament, would be Cush, and that would incorporate today's Ethiopia and Sudan. And then it says Beth Togarmah, which is modern-day Turkey. And then we see Iran, who is obviously in the Old Testament. Iran was called Persia. So keep these in mind. And if you go to my website, which is www.bibleprophecyman.com, you will see in that chapter I have a picture. If you haven't been to the book yet, you'll see in that chapter there is an outline that tells you exactly who the nations are that will come against Israel in that Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39 war, and it gives you the names of the countries who are going to be coming against the nation of Israel during that time. Again, we have the Sudan, Turkey, and Iran who is involved in there. Now, knowing that, you have things that are taking place in these last days that are involving these nations, and I want to talk about that, which is happening in the news today. It says, let me get right down. It says, the Egyptian army has seized 5 vehicles carrying weapons into the country from Sudan. The armies were apparently headed for Gaza, and keep in mind, the Gaza is where the Palestinians are, and there's the group called the Hamas, which is an enemy of Israel, and their charter says that they want to get rid of Israel. They want to destroy Israel, and they've been working to destroy Israel. Let me go on. It says the Egyptian officials said that the vehicles were intercepted on Sunday near the border with Sudan. Now, following a shootout during which the truck drivers fled, the truckers have been carrying large quantities of mortars, rocket-propelled grenades, rifles, and explosives that were headed to Hamas-ruled Gaza Strip through smuggling tunnels under the Gaza-Egypt border. The Israeli intelligence officials say that Sudan is a major route for Hamas weapons. And last year, the regime in Khartoum accused Israel of carrying out airstrikes on smugglers inside Sudan. Now, just yesterday, and I'm going to repeat this, yesterday there was another report about more arms that were being smuggled or carried into Syria. It says Israel's Navy on Tuesday intercepted Libyan flagged ship laden with weapons 200 nautical miles off the Israeli coast. An IDF spokesman said that the Victoria originated from the Syrian port. So we have Syria involved in the news as of yesterday, and obviously these ships again were coming from where they were originating from, sailing according to the article in Misan in Turkey. So you have Turkey, Sudan, Iran, and you have the Hamas. Now, what you're seeing here is signs of the wars that haven't been fulfilled yet. Psalm 83 war, we see Gaza. We see the Phoenicians, the modern Old Testament, the Phoenicians who are modern-day Palestinians and part of the Gaza Strip. And so they're getting weapons because they want to use these weapons in a future war against Israel. Now, the ships that are bringing them down, Sudan is not mentioned in the Psalm 83 war, but when you read Ezekiel chapter 38, you'll see that Sudan is in that war. So they will be, even though they're not going to be involved in the Somme War, we see the connection that is going to affect them on the second war, the later war, which will come after the Somme War. So Sudan will be arming, and they are allied with these people who hate Israel, and they're bringing in the arms, and I believe without a doubt, for weapons that they will be using in the future. And you also see that the ships that are taken from Libya and Syria, that the ships from Iran going into Syria, and now you see these ships that they stopped again with arms on them coming, that were stopped by the Egyptians, who actually spotted them, and they found these other weapons. So you have all of these weapons continually going in, or they're smuggling these weapons in to this area, and we know what the outcome will be, because there's going to be some kind of event that will explode in the Middle East, and I don't think it's going to be that far off, considering all of that is happening in the Middle East, that will generate this final war, the Psalm 83 war, against these bordering nations of Israel. Now that will be a final war for them, but that's not going to be the only war, because we know Sudan is also in Turkey, is going to be involved, and as well as Iran will be involved in that Ezekiel chapter 38 war. So all of the events taking place and the arms going in to Israel just shows us that they're inching to this final event where the Lord had prophesied so many years ago. Thanks.